Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So we've got Vandell here from Black Swan Capitalist. The correlation between Velo and global M2 supply is strong. So looking at this specific cryptocurrency, but the thing that I wanted to point your attention to is the fact that he is also looking at M2 money supply, guys. This is what's going to get crypto rocking and rolling. So he says global M2 is leading by approximately 11 to 12 weeks, as you guys can see here from the chart. And 11 to 12 weeks, that falls within the range that Raoul Pal was talking about too. He was saying 10 weeks. Somebody else that Raoul Pal works with was saying about 12 weeks. So anywhere between that range is when we could start to see the markets move up. So given M2's current upward trajectory, tells you exactly what is coming next. Guys, this is going to be the blow off top. This is the last thing that we're waiting for before we start to see some of these altcoins rock and roll. Yesterday, XRP was trading in around $2.02, and we did see one very, very bullish hourly candlestick there. Currently, we're seeing XRP trading in and around $2.16, just under $2.16. So the next level, of course, is this shelf here. Getting up above these ranges is going to be key. So that is roughly $2.60. But we got to get above that with conviction. Luckily for us, we did see XRP break this trend line. And I don't know if it was XRP or Bitcoin that I was talking about in the video that I recorded the other day. But essentially, they've both now, it was Bitcoin. So they've both now broken the trend line. Bitcoin is also up. So that's what's bringing XRP up with it at 85, just shy by $1 of $85,000 per coin. So that's positive news, guys. You can see fear is receding. We are now in the 30s. It feels like it's been forever since we've been in the 30s. At 32, market cap is up by over 3.2%, and the CMC 100 up by 2.88. Now it just changed over to 3.11. So you guys can see in the space, Bitcoin is up by 2.2%. Ethereum's up by almost 4%. XRP up by 6.7%. So XRP still gaining a lot of steam. And guys, I think that is important for this particular bull run. This is the first time we've seen this kind of thing for XRP in a bull run. It usually is last and fast. I don't know how many of you guys remember, me saying that term over the years, last and fast. So don't worry that XRP isn't rocking and rolling right away. But guys, this time it actually is different. XRP is leading, a lot of the altcoins in a lot of ways. Even Solana's up 9.15%. So I'm getting really excited about these altcoins. And for more information on what I'm going to be doing specifically, you can follow me, patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. Yes, it is a paid subscription, but what I do over there is that I'm opening up my portfolio. So basically, you guys can see what I'm trading, the quantities that I'm going to be trading out, at what prices I'm going to be trading out. And I've included my legacy portfolio, which does include XRP, Bitcoin, Solana, VeChain, Algorand. And there's the $15,000 plus portfolio too. Some coins some coins maybe you haven't even heard of. But for all that information, you can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. The other thing that I do discuss over there at the Patreon, which I think I'm going to be going over with my new Patreon subscribers, because the old ones might have a good grasp on this, but I think I'm going to repost some of this stuff because we did talk about this several months ago now, maybe even a year ago, where we could maybe use a refresher. To this point, okay, another tweet here from Vandell. Let's say your crypto sell portfolio hits $1 million. Have you thought about how you're going to sell? Okay, and it sounds simple on the surface, but guys, it can get tricky just depending on, what country you live in, what the rules of the road are in your country, and a lot of other things. He says this is a critical question. It's much easier said than done. I encourage you all to create an exit strategy. And so over there at patreon.com, that is exactly what we're doing. So wanted to thank Vandell for those two tweets. Of course, I also have the Working Money Channel merch store. And I've noticed some traction over there on the Send It Astronaut men's t-shirts. Right now, I'm offering 20% off for the month of April. So if you guys want the brand new design, the Astronaut Send It XRP t-shirt, link is in the description of the video, and that 20% off is for the rest of the month of April. Sentiment is shifting quite a bit in the space. Arthur Hayes, co-founder of BitMEX and CIO of Maelstrom, explains how monetary actions from the Fed and other central banks will drive Bitcoin to $250,000 per coin. So let's just go back to Bitcoin for 1 second here. I'm going to throw this on the daily. Looking at the Bitcoin trajectory. I mean, if we can make a full fib, I mean, we've stalled out here at the 1.618. But if Bitcoin does have enough pep to get up to these levels right in here, that is by and large a $250,000 Bitcoin. I mean, 241, very close. But here's what Arthur Hayes has to say.
I mean, there definitely will be a bear market for sure, because our expectations of what the future amount of fiat growth will outpace what actually happens, right? But I think if we're talking about what's really going to reignite Bitcoin from this, 70,000 to 100,000 chop that we've been in for the last few months, I think it's the Fed capitulates, then the PBOC allows the yuan to weaken, or at least stay consistent with the Fed. They can print as much money and tread water. You have the EU printing money to build bombs, and then you have Japan. The BOJ might stop its normalization of rates exercise and go back to printing money so that Japan can regain some export competitiveness against China. So again, I think that is what can take us into the 250 and above levels.
The key is there needs to be more money, essentially what he's saying there. And I could read between the lines of what Arthur Hayes is saying. Just from what he said there, I get the sense that he is assuming we're still going to see a 4-year cycle where Bitcoin behaves the same way as it always has. Again, these are all factors that I'm going to be paying attention to very, very closely in real time over there at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. And if they don't play out as they seem, well, going to let my Patreon subscribers know how I'm shifting gears in terms of where I'm going to be trading. So he mentioned a few things here, many factors that are going to play into this, and they're global, and they're global factors. We can't just pay attention to the United States. We can't just pay attention to what crypto is doing in the moment. Really, guys, what it boils down to, there needs to be extra money kicking around the economy globally for people to feel confident enough to put that money into cryptocurrency. So wanted to thank Tony Edward, and I do suggest you watch the podcast. It is listed here in this tweet. XRP Crypto Wolf bringing this to our attention, guys. $3 billion traded in XRP in the last 24 hours. I mean, we could see that just from the number pumping yesterday. It went up like 10 cents in a couple of hours, and I was kind of unaware. I was out and I wasn't paying attention. Then I look at my phone. I'm like, oh, wow, that's a big pump. I mean, it's a start. CoinMarketCap data says now over $3 billion worth of XRP was traded in just 24 hours as the digital asset continues to rebound. After facing significant pressure this week, XRP has been clawing its way back and regaining key support levels. As I just mentioned, on Saturday, XRP sustained its upward momentum and was up 2.63% in the last 24 hours to $2.06. So it's a start. We still have some ways to go, quite a bit of ways to go. I mean, the market is slowly creeping up. Again, paying attention to Bitcoin first. That is the key metric that I think I'm pretty positive, 95% sure that this is still what is going to catalyze the rest of those altcoins. Bitcoin is making its way up, hopefully now making higher lows. Higher lows and higher highs is going to be the next thing that we look at here. So getting up above 88,006 for Bitcoin. But investors are feeling confident in XRP, $3 billion in inflows just in the last 24 hours alone. So that's great news. Wanted to thank XRP Crypto Wolf for posting that. Let's move to Europe, where the European Central Bank Authority confirms that the new crypto asset framework is now fully implemented. So this came out this month, April 2025, courtesy of Smoke. It says here, okay, from the European Banking Authority. So, speaking to the real world utility in Europe, at least, micro regulations have been formed, and I guess they've been working hard at this to fully implement this. But the new crypto asset framework is now fully implemented, and the EU crypto asset framework entered into force back at the end of last year. This includes the MyCar, the transfer of funds and certain crypto assets regulation and amendments to Directive EU 2015/849. CASPs must put in place a robust systems and control to ensure that they are not misused for illicit activities. And so that is the big thing that governments around the world are looking towards. We published an overview of all financial crime requirements that apply to the CASPs here. Unfortunately, this is not a link. This is just a screen grab. But, this is the letter from just a few days ago, from about a week ago, April the 7th, 2025, saying it's fully implemented now. So guys, what are we waiting for? Of course, U.S. regulation, and it's looking like that is coming very soon. This August, Senate Banking Chair Scott says major Bitcoin and crypto bills will be passed by August.
Under the Biden administration and the Gensler at the SEC, they just didn't like crypto. What I've said very often is simply this: we must innovate before we regulate. That means allowing innovation to happen here at home in the digital asset space is critical to American economic dominance across the globe. The good news is President Trump is leading the way to a crypto revolution, starting here at the Banking Committee. And that's why we've moved very quickly the Genius Act, focusing on the crypto world. That's how you get things done. It's passed through my committee in a bipartisan fashion. Next, market structure on its way to be heard in the committee, marked up, and I believe passed into law by August.
I had to cut it off right at the end, but passed into law by August. That was the golden jewel there from that clip. So wanted to thank the Bitcoin historian for posting that, and Smoked, of course, XRP Crypto Wolf, and Tony Edward as well. Guys, Ripple has had a plan from day one, and we're continue to see them build. The opportunity now is to make the United States the crypto capital of the world. This coming from Ray Fuentes. We need to bring those jobs, bring those tax dollars, and bring those opportunities back onshore. Now, Stuart Alderati on this panel does explain what Ripple had to do during the lawsuit. They kind of had their hands tied at the time. But now, guys, they're pivoting now that we're getting the regulatory clarity in the United States. Here's Stuart Alderati explaining just that.
So while we were fighting the SEC in the U.S., what we did was, after we had a brief conversation as to whether or not we needed to shutter the company and just distribute whatever assets we had to the shareholders, and it was a very real conversation that we had in January of 2021, we said, you know what, let's go outside the U.S. and let's continue to build our company. And that's what we did for the 4 years that we were fighting the SEC. We built our company up in Singapore, in London, in Dubai, in Brazil, in Europe. When the SEC sued us, we had 400 employees. Sitting here today, we have 900. Most all of those were hired outside of the U.S. We're now, 96% of our customers were signed outside of the U.S. So the opportunity now to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world is to bring those jobs, bring those tax dollars, bring those opportunities back onshore.
So that's a big deal, going from 400 employees to 900 employees, and a lot of those employees were in other countries around the world. And so Stuart Alderati is saying, now that we've got a regime that is favorable to cryptocurrency and crypto adoption, let's bring those jobs back onshore. Now, I know how that sounds. I don't think he means let's shutter now all those offices that we've opened around the world and move those people and transfer them to the United States. I think what it means is now we've built out in other countries, so now we don't have to focus on that so much. Now we can focus on the United States and build a robust ecosystem here. So that is also great news. I'm sure a lot of Americans love hearing that kind of thing. Wanted to thank Ray Fuentes for posting that. Smoke here with another clip. I talked a little bit about this in yesterday's video. If you guys didn't catch it, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. Did you know that the CEO of Tucrium is actually an XRP fan? This is why they were so excited to launch their ETF. Some more context as to why they chose XRP. He gives some insight on it. Listen to this.
And so I like crypto. We didn't really do much with Ether. I happen to really be an XRP fan. I think that it has a good use case. I think it's very legitimate. I think that they're smart people, and I like the asset. And so when we realized crypto, there was going to be a more friendly atmosphere toward crypto by the new SEC. We got to work, filed as soon as the new SEC came, as soon as the old SEC was out of power. Let's put it that way. And the 75 days went by. And we launched as soon as we possibly could, and it was a very good process. It was tough to do. We got excellent tickers, and we're here, and we're happy.
Bitcoin is a store of value, and you were just alluding to what Ripple's doing. But how do you like to explain what XRP is, just at a basic level?
So it may or may not be a proper explanation, but what I tell people is that it is it's going to be used as a tool. It's a tool that's going to be used to expedite the movement of assets, primarily money, around the world almost instantaneously. They've built out the platform and the system. There are enough XRP out there and around. They have a very good dissemination plan. Everything is going to be better regulated, well regulated. It's willing to be regulated. They want to be regulated, and we've got hopefully an administration which appears to be very crypto friendly, and we're very glad about that. So I think XRP's use case is primarily the movement of money and assets around pretty quickly.
XRP is going to be the chosen cryptocurrency, and this is why Tucrium decided to create that product, that ETF, so that people can invest in something that is going to matter, guys. This is so important. I mean, we got this news the other day, the Hidden Road acquisition, and more is coming out with regards to that. Wrath of Kahneman commenting, is this significant or is he just dreaming here? I find it interesting that SBI has made a formal announcement about Ripple's Hidden Road acquisition as well. So they came out and they posted this. There are certainly some exciting possibilities given the Osaka exchange plans. One of the translations here, SBI Holdings Inc. and SBI Ripple Asia Company Limited are pleased to announce that Ripple Labs, an important partner of the SBI Group, has announced that it will acquire Hidden Road, a major prime broker, using cash, XRP, and treasury stock. And so I have the translated press release up here. So this is the announcement regarding Ripple's acquisition of Hidden Road. Not going to read the full thing, but just going to go over some salient points here. So Ripple will inject billions of dollars into Hidden Road to fund the capital it needs of the company to rapidly scale its prime brokerage. So Ripple is ready, guys, to just inject billions of dollars. And whether that's through XRP or RLUSD, what have you, that's how they're going to do it. RLUSD provides efficient cross margining between digital assets and traditional financial markets. It will be the first stablecoin to do so and be the first USD-backed stablecoin for enterprises. So that's important as well. XRPL proves useful as a leading blockchain, as they know. What does it say down here? So for the crypto industry to reach the next stage of growth, it is essential that the underlying infrastructure is in place and ready for adoption by financial institutions. Now, don't forget, this is SBI saying this. Prime brokers bring trading services to the digital asset space with the trust and expertise expected in the traditional financial industry. Together, Ripple and Hidden Road will bring the potential of digital assets to institutional investors in a scalable way, bridging the gap between traditional and decentralized finance. So this is kind of a major bridge here for global trade and real high value traders. It's a prime brokerage, guys. This is enormous. This move is bringing XRP to the big leagues. They're even saying down here, we are at the tipping point of the next phase of adoption of digital assets. So this is, remember when Brad was saying crawl, walk, run? This is the run phase. Okay, the market is effectively opening up for the first time, and the threat of excessive SEC regulation finally is over and maturing to serve the needs of traditional finance. That was a quote from Brad. With this momentum behind us, we will continue to pursue opportunities to leverage XRP's unique position and strengths to transform the digital asset space at scale. So that's also important. Accelerate business and enhance current solutions for technologies. This is all sounding very, very promising. And, the fact that SBI is coming out and commenting on this, I think does speak volumes as well. So along those lines, I wanted to share this message. I wanted to keep them anonymous. It was from one of my Patreon subscribers. Hey, Working Money Channel, I just talked to a buddy who does finance with the car industry. He happens to be very well informed on basic finance. When I explained the recent purchase of the prime brokerage business by Ripple and how that works, he said this, okay, that sounds like how PayPal works. The way he explained it was that PayPal uses your money and puts it into a high yield account and uses the interest to actually pay the clients. So this is an interesting side. I don't know what to call it. Maybe a side business for Ripple. I don't know what the definition actually is. He does say though this is difficult to explain. If I buy a shirt from Amazon for $20 and submit my payment via PayPal, they take the $20 and sock it in a high yield account until payment is due. Maybe collecting interest on the money for 2 weeks, even though the transaction is completed and I have the product, the actual settlement is not due for 2 weeks. So guys, they're going to arbitrage that time in the middle and maybe make money off that. I'm just wondering if the recent acquisition by Ripple will use XRP to immediately complete the transaction, but hold the RLUSD in a high yield account until payment is due. So that is definitely one possibility. And I'm sure they have guys that are advising them on this. There just seems to be something fishy with the recent purchase, and I would really like to know how this will drive profit for Ripple and increase the value of XRP. So I think if Ripple can become more profitable, essentially, this is going to bode well for everybody who holds XRP, because if Ripple's successful, that means more XRP utility. They have more money to build out the XRPL ecosystem, and they have more, they have more money to play with. A richer company will just enrich the system. And so for XRP hodlers, this is going to be beneficial. Another example too that I think this is very similar to is like how you might have how you might have the Starbucks app on your cell phone, or you have a Starbucks reloadable card and you keep reloading it, $50, $100, but you don't use that money right away. But Starbucks gets your money and they can do what they want with it until you spend the balance. So You know, somebody was telling me this, how Starbucks is more like a bank than it is actually a coffee company. Think of all the millions of dollars that they just collect, just people giving them money beforehand, and how they store that money on their app, and they can pretty much, invest it. They can do whatever they want. And I mean, they're not really out money, and they're always going to have a balance. I mean, just because the company is so big, could this be the same thing that Ripple is doing in prime brokerage? I don't know, guys, but it is piquing a lot of people's interests, like Bill Morgan here. The extract you quote is interesting. I wonder how much XRP was used. Was there any notable difference in the quantity of XRP released from escrow and not placed back? So that's another interesting question there. It's a good question, to be honest. Given SBI's announcement history and the language differences, I don't take it quite at face value. More possible route rather than established fact. And Bill does say, I understand, but if such a precedent-breaking acquisition, which is a big story, also involves the use of XRP towards part of the purchase price, I think that is a big story in and of itself. So we don't have any firm metrics on that. But guys, I wouldn't be surprised if they did use XRP as part of the purchase, considering it is a prime brokerage, considering they are going to be using XRP anyway. I mean, it all makes sense. So wanted to thank Bill, wanted to thank my Patreon subscriber here, Wrath of Kahneman Smoke, and Ray Fuentes for posting those. SBI commenting on this is a big deal. I mean, they don't comment on every single acquisition that Ripple does make. So the fact that they made a specific press release towards this just makes me think that this acquisition is a really big deal. It's going to get XRP price rising once we hit real world utility. And that utility, guys, going to start in August. As per Senate Banking Chair Scott's remarks, August 2025 is when we're going to start to see that legislation hammered out. So is this crypto bull run going to follow a traditional 4-year trajectory, or are we going to see real world utility at the end of the day? Follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel for all my moves. It's happening in real time, baby. Boom, like that. We could change our mind based on what's happening in the market. So if you want my up-to-date trades, follow me, patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. Also, I am offering 20% off this month in April for all my merchandise on the Working Money Channel merch store. A lot of fun items here. I did create a new slew of items there. So link is in the description of the video for that if you're interested. But that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.